Welcome to the Mischief. I'm Vallen, and this is Nine Parchments, a sorcery game brought to you by Frozenbyte. They're the makers of such games like Trine, Shadwin, Has-Been Heroes, and more. It's a kind of a combination of Trine and Magicka, if you're familiar with those games. It's single player or multiplayer, as you can see here. You can play it locally or online. It's very unique in this aspect, and I really enjoy that. Plus, it's also a very beautiful game. Now, I'm going to be showing you a little bit in single player, plus maybe a clip or two of some multiplayer that I did. It gets a bit crazy, but I recommend that you continue on and play this with, you know, just people that you are familiar with or that you know. It can be good if you have a smaller group. It can get very crazy very quickly if you've got a group that's just kind of mass hysteria. Anyway, let's click join here. And you can see that I have Cornelius Crownstead here, Crownsteed, excuse me, up to level 18. And I've got him in multiple outfits. Or I could choose Gizlan of Alcyon. And in this case, we're going to choose Gizlan of Alcyon. She starts with different spells from Cornelius. He has like a frost beam, a fireball, and a lobbing death area effect.
Greetings.
She starts with a healing area, a lightning spell, and a death spell, which they're pretty cool. You can actually check out the skill tree that each of the characters have. There's, I believe, 40 levels that you can choose here. They've got the different skill trees, which you can only unlock within certain restrictions, but we're going to actually choose Gizlan. And I have some outfits that I can choose. Oh, this hat actually matches. We're totally going to go for that. And you can see that there are different staffs, as you see. And each one will have different benefits for you, depending on your playstyle. There's a very heavy way that you can customize your character depending on how you want it to play. And in this case, I'm going to go with Rudolphus Moonstaff because, well, it's basically got a life leech ability on there. So any damage I do, she will heal herself from it naturally. So the more damage you do, the more healing you're going to get. And I'm alright with that. Of course, as you can see, there's options for other players to join in. I'm only going to be doing a single player kind of jaunt here.
Once again, our story began at the Astral Academy, where young wizards from all over the world gathered to learn magic. Students at the Academy were learning their basic spells under the guidance of the great wizards. They were to completely master their old spells before earning new ones for their spell books. It was time for yet another spell test.
And as you can see here, we start off at the Spell College Academy. I don't know what you want to do. You can change how you're feeling in here. I feel helpful today. And if you approach one of these little glowing books, it basically will tell you it's the Astral Academy Stargazing Telescope. It tells you different things that are going on. And you can see that I have different abilities. This is her Death Ray, which is just a damage over time as I hit things. Now I can also smash things with my staff as well, which, yes, you will pretty much have to use it as a blunt weapon from time to time. Plus, it doesn't use any mana. Then I've got like my little healing area that while I'm in this area, it will heal me over time. And then, of course, I have this other ability, which shoots like this spray of lightning out from my hands. And it will, well, just kind of do lightning damage as well as freeze enemies. Now, if I get close to these, opposite elemental spells are vulnerable to each other. Fire and ice, life and death, lightning and steam. That's right, there are several different elements in this, not just your standard 4. In a later game, you can respend your character's earned skill points, so you can therefore change how your character levels up. You're not required to stick to it at all times. Collecting the Astral Academy's enchantment quills will be worth your while. As you see these little purple quills in the world, they're just basically a really big bluish, purplish feather floating there. If you collect all of them in the level, you could unlock yourself some special aesthetic gear or something like that. And you always get one chance to not die in the level, and hopefully I will make it so that I don't need to do that. There we go. I just caught that broom. And typically that would be your first magic staff. You'd start without any staff and you'd be able to punch. But in this case I have one and I can swing it over my head. And yes, I can teleport. If you look at next to my little green health bar, I have a mana bar. which is actually below it. And then to the right is a little, like, kind of purplish outlined white bar. If I press my button here, I can teleport up to 2 times, and it slowly recharges over time. Blink is a powerful ability, and it tells you that you should use it to, you know, kind of do stuff. And you can reorganize your spells, because right now I have 3 to choose from. You can get so many, so many, and they can have such devastating effects or helpful ones. And of course there's the headmaster with his little image there. And you can open your equipment book, and you can see here, I can change the staff if I want this fire resistance staff instead. There we go, I now have a fire resistance staff if I want to switch that. And I don't have to be next to this book. I can just press the Y button and choose something else. So I'm going to choose this, and we're going to continue on. And yes, I can smash things with my staff, or I can use my my magic to do so. But part of your wizarding exam, if you only had not slept through that lesson, you might have an idea what to do. So therefore, we're going to a wizarding exam that we don't know if we're passing or not. We're just supposed to go there. And let's see, if I choose my healing spell, I can't hit these targets. If I choose this, I might be able to hit them, but they're also kind of further away. So I want to do this. And I'm using dual thumbsticks right here. I've got my one thumbstick that controls her, and the other thumbstick controls the direction she's facing. So she can run backwards if I want, you know, casting spells on the go. It's really good, really good. You rearrange your spell wheel with the left and right, so if you don't like the order that your spells are in, you can switch them around if you end up messing around with them a little too much. Then you can unlock new characters by basically killing things, finding things, sometimes destroying stuff. All spells have different cooldowns. They might even have different shots to shoot out. There we go. Found an oculist's hat. Occultist's hat. Oh, brother. Boy, that was terrible pronunciation. But you get the idea here so far. It's pretty comprehensive. You can fight with your bare hands or a staff. You know, as I was saying, you just whack things over your head there. Oh, looks like here's all the rest of the students, and yes, you can be all sorts of different characters once you unlock them, but you only start with 2 to begin with.
Did we complete the test?
You are all disqualified for advanced studies until further notice. Now, you must stay here and practice.
For how long?
Forever, if you must. You will practice until your magic is safe. Until I'm convinced you're not all walking magical hazards, just waiting to explode.
I don't know, that sounds pretty...
probably nothing
appetizing to me. Yeah, so we all just failed our exam.
So the Astral Academy's mystical spell parchments were scattered into the faraway corners of the world. In all this chaos, however, the clever young students saw an opportunity for some illicit hands-on studying. All they had to do was to go out and collect spells until they had all their 9 parchments.
Well, sounds simple enough, right? It's actually a lot more challenging than you might think. So, at the end of a level, you get this little kind of level up thing, tells you all the stats, and if you had multiple people playing with you, it would show theirs as well. But we're going to continue on. You could see that there is a path that we were following. I don't know if you saw.
The sooner I complete my spell book, the sooner I can return to Alcyon.
There you go.
The Astral Academy's not as vile as I first thought it to be, but nothing compares to home. And in Alcyon, they wouldn't allow for such chaos and explosions.
Alright, so here's our first enemy. He has a protective field on him. And these guys here, they're all yellow. I'm doing a little bit of damage to them. And I've exhausted my spells. But that's alright. When I switch to a different spell type, it starts, you know, kind of... You saw that guy there. Let's kind of teleport over here. You can see that as I expend this spell... There we go, I'll just use it to finish him off. Then I can switch to another spell, and it will have, that one will have a separate mana bar. So each spell has its own mana bar, not just one mana bar, and you get to choose one spell. So this really kind of forces you to continue on with expecting changes and differences. And if you have multiple other players with you, you can see here this guy got shocked, stunned for a moment. If you have other players with you, there we go, take some Death Ray. And these guys are... I'm not using any kind of special you know, elements against them, so they're not getting any special benefits from it. You know, like if this guy was made of fire, I'm using ice. No, I've just got electricity and death. Or death ray is what I like it as. But I really like the lightning one because it has a side effect of stunning the target, which can be very useful. Not to mention that I could also drop down a couple of these healing areas and try and snipe these guys from a distance. And if I get attacked in one area, ooh, I can run over to another and hopefully get out of there. Now, this guy's got a shield, as you saw there. We're just going to want to try and... Oh, we'll just keep zapping this guy to stun him. Oops, I hit the wrong button there. It takes a little bit of getting used to. I'm using a control to play, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad at all. And yeah, you can use your teleport just to kind of speed up. Can I hit both? Yes, I can, if I had enough mana for it. But let's try and take out one at a time here. And if I had anything to worry about with my damage... Whoops. I'll just smack him with my staff. Which, actually, your staff is pretty darn damaging in some ways. Some mobs are much more prone to damage than others. But this guy here has fire, so I want to be very careful about that one. And in that chest, I just got 61 experience. That's right, most chests will actually have experience. And this is an achievement towards unlocking a character. If I can get the other 2 achievements as well, then I should be able to unlock that one and play that character if I wanted, which is going to have different starting spells and abilities. So it really does have a lot of variability in this whole thing here. Now, there are ways to counter and combine abilities against your foes, specifically if they're in a multiplayer game. You can combine your effects to really damage your enemies. But in this case, I really do like that spell. In this case, I don't have another player to combine them with, but I can counter enemies that are attacking me with similar type spells, if they're doing so. So let's actually see if I can stun this guy while healing up. And you can see he's going to kind of jump into an area. We'll just give him a death ray as well. Take that. He's almost dead. And you don't... do you see there? I just leveled up. Now, as there's no enemies on the screen, let's go up here and I can scroll over. I can change my outfits if I wanted. You can see I've got a couple different outfits that I've unlocked. They're just aesthetic, you know, so no big deal there. But you can see here we have other abilities. Now, I can't unlock these other skill trees yet, but once I do, then I can start going down those. For now, I can either increase my spell power, increase my mana flow, faster spell regeneration, or increase my viridity, which is my life spell power. That's the spell power to heal. Now in this case, I want more damage, but that's only a 10% increase. 7% faster spell regeneration is really, really good, max 35. So I think I'm going to put 2 points in there. That just increased it by 14%. So now when I cast spells, my spells will recharge much quicker, and therefore, well, not much, but a bit at a time. Each level will help you out with that. And as you find new areas, you should be able to... whoa, oh boy. You should be able to unlock new abilities, especially if you collect all the goodies on the level. Oops. But I keep on hitting the menu button instead of the teleport. My bad.
Behold, they found a lift.
I like how he says they. Looks like hopscotch is sitting around out here. But here you go. This little feather here, that is one of the things that you want to find. I've already found them. That one is actually a hologram in this level. So therefore it's no biggie that's... Whoa, that was close. For that, uh-oh, we've got a problem here. Let's try hitting some of these guys. Getting out of the way. And I'm going to have a little bit of a problem with this. Let's try hitting this bird. If I get too close to him, he will do a vicious kick attack. So let's try zapping him a bunch. Oh, he's trying to kick me. No. I don't want to. And you have to have a minimum amount in order to cast your spells again. So if you run out, then you might have a... Uh-oh. I'm just gonna kick you. I will kick you so hard, bird. And let me heal myself back up. There we go. Nothing really too bad there. But the healing spells are a little bit interesting, and these are very low-level ones. There are very high-level ones as well that can be much more interesting than one might expect. This guy here is just going to keep summoning minions. That's his power with his own magic staff. So therefore, I'm going to want to try and focus on taking him down as soon as possible. There we go. And look, there's a brand new staff available. Looks a lot like the one that I have. That's interesting. Let's get over here, pick it up, and we'll just put out a little bit of healing wells here so I can get close to these guys. I can hit them a bunch, but you can see that sometimes, yeah, they were getting healed too. So it's not always beneficial to drop those things where the bad guys are. Let's see if I can drop this guy's shield, and then drop him. There we go. Stood my ground, took him out. Gateway opens. Let's see what's going on in here. And the aesthetics in this game are really, really good. I mean, look at this. This is beautiful. They really did a lot of like Trine-like art in here, which is really good. Really, really good. But it's not two-dimensional anymore. Let's just zap her a bit. You can see that there's kind of a cooldown. Oh, she has a ray. So let's try using our ray against hers. Oh, and you can see that we have like kind of this ray battle. Oh boy, oh boy, oh. That's what happens when you die. You get 1 life if you're playing by yourself. Let's actually, oh boy, that doesn't look good. I'm gonna put down a couple of healing wells here. And let's see if I can kind of stun everybody and just fry them all. There we go. So, ray battle. Okay, we'll push it back to you. We can shoot each other. It's really cool that you can counter like that. It depends on the ray that you use, though. If it's a different style of ray that it's not countered by, then therefore you're not really going to do much. It will, you know, maybe just break even, or you'll shoot past each other like that. Whoa, whoa. We'll just try and shoot this guy. And I got myself locked into a corner there. Now those other guys are much slower, so I'm not as worried about them. Let's just see about trying to take them down a bit. And just take out the shield. There we go. And the door opens. Sometimes the things are simple. Sometimes they're a lot more complex. I mean, look at this. But yes, as a wizard, you have all this magic at your hands, you know, at your fingertips, but you can't swim. If you try, if you go into the water, you can walk across shallow water, but if you go into any of the deep water, you're dead. It's pretty much lava. So there you go. And I just accidentally did that. I just upped her virility. But, oh well, she's going to heal for more now, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, especially if she uses it on herself.
Old ruins fascinate me.
Alright, don't forget beachwear. And I'm going to, kind of progress through here and maybe cut through in a few scenes so that you can see some of the different effects, areas, enemies, something like that. I mean, I'm not going to play through the whole game or anything. These guys here, if they get close to you, of course, will explode. This guy here, he just walks towards you slowly. The other one shoots things at you. There's a lot of variability about the mobs. These are just your beginning ones, letting you get used to your spells. I will just club him. So I might return shortly when I've got something of a little bit more interest to show you.
Inside the chest is a brand new hat.
Ooh, an Owl's Copper Fascinator. And Owl is one of the characters, so therefore I could put this on my head. And you can see that she now has a little thing on her head there, but I'm going to continue matching her outfit. Anyway, I'll be back soon.
One of the elusive parchments was surely near now. But little did anyone know what was lurking ahead.
Actually, funny enough, I do know what lurks ahead. And I think it's going to be very big. Oh boy.
The breathtaking seaside vista was not the only thing to give pause to anyone admiring the horizon.
Indeed.
A beast of some terrifying sort had also taken a liking to the missing parchment.
So now we've got a boss battle, which is going to be quite interesting, to say the least. He's got a few different attacks. As you can see, I'm doing some damage. It does some poison. And it does like a fire attack, which I'm going to cast a little bit of a healing skill here. And my ray actually can only shoot so far. You can see it kind of fades out when I get too far away. So I need to make sure that I'm not in its area of effect when I'm doing this damage to it. And here comes more poison. It's a good thing that I've got this teleporting ability, or else I would have a lot more difficulty in trying to get it. Alright, let's see if we can take him down a bit. And he's going to start throwing out more of the poison globs. Let's just get out of the way of that. Then get over here. And teleport away. And just start laying waste to him. You can see that there are different, approaches to this. And if you have multiple people, then it would be a lot more challenging in different ways. Each person having a different spell set. And there we go. Got him. Tremendously deadly. Bye. Oh, he took that. He took it with him. Oh dear. Whoopsie. So there you have it. And now I'm going to kind of go into a little bit different of an area where there's multiplayer. And you can see that it can get quite hairy. And as you can see here, I leveled up. And I'm able to choose a new spell ability. A larger life circle, a rock of fire that I throw a distance and explodes in a somewhat medium-sized area, or a small fireball. And I'm actually familiar with these somewhat. I somewhat prefer the small fireball. It can be very damaging. I mean, look at the base damage on this is 20. This one's 50, and I get 8 shots at it. It can be very effective in taking down a small group, if not a single enemy. So that's what we're going to choose and continue on. And you can see that we now have a certain number of points invested in our first level, and it unlocks our second level area. In this case, I'm going to continue on with more mana flow, but you can see that as you progress more, you can unlock more and more for even bigger and better effects, spell abilities.
That enormous mantis was a delight one can have too much of. But I demonstrated what this Witch of Alcyon's made of.
And as you can see, I now have 4 spells to choose from. This one here being the new Fireball spell. Of course, these guys are going to be immune to it, so that might be a little bit to be concerned about. But let's see if I can finish them off quickly with some other ray attacks. See if I can zap him at the same time he's zapping me. There we go. But if I launch this, let's see, I've got my fireballs shooting at these explosive ice barrels. But I'm sure that if I find an enemy that is, if not weak to it, at least, there we go, we've got some ice enemies, which means that they're going to be very weak to it, and I can just unload a whole bunch of damage real quick. Whereas some of the other spells, they might run out fast, doing an area effect, or even the slow beam just does a bit of damage over time. You can see how having a bit of a spell selection to choose from is very key, especially as the more types of spells you get, the more mana you effectively have at your disposal to use to slay your foes. And here is just a brief look at the journey that you have to take. Defeating that first boss was nothing really too fancy, because there's a very long journey ahead of you. As you can see, I currently have some scrolls, and each of the scrolls that we find and are trying to collect opens up new abilities and spells. You can even empower them much greater, as you have in multiplayer. There's a lot going on here. I am playing the male apprentice wizard in this case. And there are a lot of other people on here. You can hit each other. PvP is, as far as I've been able to find out, always turned on. Which makes it even more difficult, because if you use area of effect spells, well, bad things can happen. But then again, Area of Effect heals can also help your party too, provided that you're not healing the monsters that you're trying to get rid of. Things can get very intense, and kind of the screen can get a little bit crazy with some of the spam that you can see on there, all sorts of crazy effects, and your characters overlapping each other, all with the same green health bar. It's best just to try and focus on the circles around their feet, if at all possible, or just the name, you know, player 1, player 2, or whatever your name may be as you play through. So I hope you guys enjoyed this bit by bit on 9 Parchments, brought to you by Frozenbyte, which they were able to get me this this key so that I could show you guys this wonderful, beautiful multiplayer game that is available online, co-op, local, all sorts of fun. And I really recommend this. It is a pleasure to play through, build up my characters, and play with some other people as well. So if you enjoyed this, be sure to give a like, comment, subscribe, and as always, be sure to spread the mischief to others if you think they'll enjoy this content too. And until next time, folks, I'll see you.